In a time long forgotten, when humanity spoke a single language, a grand ambition took shape, the Tower of Babel. Imagine a structure so magnificent that it aimed to reach the heavens, a symbol of unity and defiance. What drove these ancient builders to rise against divine boundaries? Was it sheer pride or a quest for immortality? As the bricks stacked higher, whispers of mystery began to swirl, hinting at secrets hidden in the shadows of this monumental endeavor. But then, something extraordinary happened. A sudden cacophony of voices erupted, each speaking a different tongue, scattering the workers like leaves in the wind. What caused this divine intervention? Was it a punishment or a pivotal moment in human history? The implications of Babel echo through time, prompting us to ponder, what if our differences are part of a greater plan? As we delve into this enigma, we'll uncover not just the story of a tower, but the very essence of human aspiration and the complexities of communication. Buckle up, because the journey through history and faith is about to unfold, and the mysteries of Babel will challenge everything you thought you knew. What secrets lie within those ancient walls? Let's find out together. The ancient Mesopotamia, often referred to as the cradle of civilization, is a land steeped in history and rich in culture. Nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, this region was home to some of the earliest human societies. The Sumerians, who emerged around 4000 BCE, are credited with many firsts: the invention of writing, the wheel, and complex urban societies. Their influence can still be felt today, as many foundational elements of governance, literature, and religion trace back to this remarkable civilization. As Mesopotamia evolved, it became a melting pot of cultures, most notably through the rise of the Babylonians. Babylon, with its iconic ziggurats and impressive city walls, became a symbol of power and innovation. The Babylonians inherited and expanded upon Sumerian achievements, creating a society that valued learning, astronomy, and law. This rich historical backdrop sets the stage for the biblical narrative of the Tower of Babel, as it reflects the ambitions and aspirations of a people deeply engaged in building something monumental. The Tower of Babel is often seen as a reflection of the human desire to reach the heavens and assert control over their destiny. This aspiration was not merely physical, it symbolized a collective ambition to unite as one people. However, the historical context reveals a tension between unity and the diverse influences of surrounding cultures. The blending of languages and traditions in this ancient setting illustrates the complexities of human interaction, a theme that resonates throughout history. In exploring the cultural dimensions of this tale, one cannot overlook the religious significance that permeated ancient Mesopotamian life. The pantheon of gods worshipped by the Sumerians and Babylonians framed their understanding of the universe and humanity's place within it. The desire to construct a tower that reached the heavens can be interpreted as an attempt to bridge the gap between the divine and the mortal, a theme that echoes in many subsequent cultures and religions. Ultimately, the historical and cultural context of the Tower of Babel serves as a reminder of humanity's enduring quest for meaning and connection. It invites us to reflect on how our past informs our present, highlighting the interplay between aspiration, identity, and the shared experiences that define civilizations. The biblical account of the Tower of Babel, found in Genesis 11 verses 1 to 9, presents a fascinating narrative that has intrigued theologians and scholars for centuries. The story begins with a unified humanity speaking a single language, expressing their desire to build a city and a tower that would reach the heavens. This collective ambition reflects fundamental human traits: the desire for community, achievement, and perhaps a touch of arrogance. As the narrative unfolds, God observes their endeavors and recognizes the potential for hubris. The decision to confuse their language and scatter them across the earth serves as a divine intervention, illustrating the limits of human ambition. This act raises profound theological implications, particularly concerning the nature of unity and diversity. The story suggests that while unity can foster collaboration, it can also lead to overreach and pride, reminding us of the precarious balance between aspiration and humility. Moreover, the Tower of Babel serves as a potent metaphor for the diversity of languages and cultures that characterize our world. The confusion of languages not only explains the multiplicity of tongues, but also underscores the idea that diversity is an intrinsic part of the human experience. In this light, the narrative invites reflection on how differences can both unite and divide, shaping our interactions and perceptions of one another. The theological message embedded in the story also speaks to the relationship between humanity and the divine. By scattering the people and introducing linguistic diversity, God asserts sovereignty over human affairs, illustrating that no matter how grand our designs, they ultimately fall within the purview of a higher power. This dynamic emphasizes the importance of humility in our pursuits, urging us to recognize our limitations in the face of the divine. In summary, the interpretation of the Tower of Babel in biblical literature invites us to explore themes of unity, ambition, and the complexity of human relationships. It serves as a timeless reminder of the delicate interplay between our aspirations and the diverse tapestry of existence that defines our world. When it comes to the Tower of Babel, archaeological theories abound, providing a fascinating glimpse into the past. Many scholars believe that the Tower of Babel was inspired by the ziggurats, massive stepped structures built in ancient Mesopotamia. These monumental edifices were designed as temples to the gods and reached impressive heights, symbolizing the connection between heaven and earth. The most famous of these is the Great Ziggurat of Ur, which showcases the architectural ingenuity of the Sumerians and Babylonians. This connection to real structures adds a layer of authenticity to the biblical narrative, suggesting that the story of Babel may have roots in actual historical events. Archaeological excavations have unearthed remnants of these ziggurats, providing tangible evidence of their existence and grandeur. For instance, the ruins of the ziggurat at Babylon, often identified with the Tower of Babel, reveal a complex construction process involving fired bricks and bitumen for waterproofing. These findings support the idea that the ambition to build something reaching the heavens was not merely a fanciful tale, but rather a reflection of the engineering capabilities of ancient civilizations. It's intriguing to think about how these structures may have inspired the biblical account, intertwining history with mythology. Moreover, the location of these ziggurats offers further insight into the cultural dynamics of the time. They were not only places of worship, but also centers of political power, reflecting the societal hierarchy and the importance of religion in governance. This duality could explain why the Tower of Babel became a focal point in the biblical narrative. It represented humanity's collective ambition to reach beyond their earthly constraints, challenging divine authority. Archaeological evidence thus helps to contextualize the story within a framework of historical significance and human aspiration. Some researchers also explore the possibility of multiple sites inspiring the Tower of Babel narrative. Various ziggurats across Mesopotamia might have contributed to the collective memory of a monumental structure that aimed to touch the skies. This idea suggests that the Tower of Babel is not just a singular event, but rather a compilation of human experiences and architectural endeavors throughout the region. The blending of these historical elements into the biblical story enriches our understanding of how ancient peoples perceived their world and their place within it. In summary, archaeological theories surrounding the Tower of Babel reveal a rich tapestry of historical and cultural influences. By examining the ziggurats and other structures of the time, we can appreciate the ambitious spirit of ancient civilizations. The connection between the archaeological record and the biblical narrative invites us to reconsider the ways in which history and myth intertwine, ultimately shaping our understanding of human aspirations and divine encounters. The Tower of Babel is steeped in symbolism, representing the heights of human ambition and the complexities of pride. In the biblical narrative, the construction of the tower is driven by a collective desire for greatness and unity. This ambition, however, comes with a warning. The attempt to reach the heavens ultimately leads to confusion and division among humanity. The tower stands as a metaphor for the pitfalls of hubris, suggesting that striving for power and recognition can lead to unforeseen consequences. It's a timeless reminder that, while the pursuit of greatness is noble, it must be balanced with humility. Beyond its immediate implications, the Tower of Babel has resonated throughout literature and art across the centuries. Artists like Peter Bruegel the Elder have depicted the tower in ways that highlight both its grandeur and its folly. These representations often emphasize the overwhelming scale of the project juxtaposed with the fragility of human endeavors. The tower, in this context, becomes a symbol of the clash between human ambition and divine will, inviting viewers to reflect on the limits of human achievement when divorced from moral considerations. The imagery associated with Babel has inspired countless interpretations, each adding layers to its meaning. In literary contexts, the Tower of Babel has often been invoked as a metaphor for miscommunication and misunderstanding. The scattering of languages at Babel serves as a powerful illustration of how diversity can lead to division. Writers have used this theme to explore societal issues, including cultural clashes and the challenges of global communication. The story thus evolves from a simple biblical account into a broader commentary on the nature of humanity itself. It poses questions about unity and diversity, urging readers to consider the implications of their own interactions in an increasingly complex world. Furthermore, the tower symbolizes the quest for knowledge and the desire to transcend earthly limitations. In a world where humanity seeks to conquer nature and achieve greatness, the Tower of Babel serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. It prompts reflection on the ethical responsibilities that accompany human innovation and ambition. The narrative challenges us to consider whether our pursuits serve the greater good or merely inflate our egos. In this way, the symbolism of the Tower of Babel continues to resonate, urging us to navigate our aspirations with care and mindfulness. Ultimately, the Tower of Babel encapsulates a rich tapestry of meanings that extend far beyond its biblical origins. It serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities of human ambition, the consequences of pride, and the challenges of communication. As we engage with this symbol through various cultural lenses, we are invited to reflect on our own aspirations and the delicate balance between striving for greatness and embracing our shared humanity. The story of the Tower of Babel has left a profound mark on various cultures and their narratives regarding the origin of languages. This biblical tale, which illustrates humanity's ambition to reach the heavens, resonates deeply across civilizations. It serves as an archetype for explaining why people speak different languages today. Many cultures have adopted the narrative of Babel, transforming it into a myth that serves to address the complexities of communication and misunderstanding among people. This story taps into the universal human experience of striving for connection while grappling with the barriers that language can create. In many traditions, the Tower of Babel symbolizes the chaos that arises from linguistic diversity. For instance, in some African and indigenous cultures, stories akin to Babel highlight the struggles faced when different tribes or groups attempt to communicate with one another. These narratives often emphasize the idea that while language can divide, it also has the power to unite, offering a dual perspective on the benefits and challenges of multilingualism. This theme is echoed in folklore and myths worldwide, where the confusion of languages becomes a pivotal moment that leads to both conflict and, eventually, cooperation. The influence of the Babel narrative extends beyond mere storytelling. It has shaped linguistic theories and discussions about the origins of languages. Scholars and linguists often reference the Tower of Babel when exploring the diversification of languages and how they evolve over time. The metaphor of a single language fragmenting into many has been a rich ground for examining how languages diverge and develop unique identities. This exploration can be seen in academic circles, where the Babel story is employed as a lens to understand historical language shifts and the formation of new dialects. Moreover, the cultural impact of the Tower of Babel can be seen in literature and art. Many writers and artists have drawn inspiration from this tale, using it as a backdrop for themes of ambition, failure, and the quest for understanding. For instance, The literary world has produced countless works that revisit the Babel theme, often using it to explore the complexities of identity in a multicultural society. These artistic expressions reflect the ongoing relevance of the Babel narrative as they grapple with the challenges of language, culture, and human connection in a globalized world. Lastly, the legacy of the Tower of Babel is also evident in the way societies approach language education and preservation. As nations become increasingly multicultural, the importance of understanding and valuing linguistic diversity has grown. Many educational frameworks now incorporate the principles derived from the Babel story, promoting multilingualism as a means of fostering unity while respecting individual identities. This shift towards inclusivity and recognition of linguistic heritage can be traced back to the foundational ideas presented in the Tower of Babel, highlighting its enduring influence on contemporary thought regarding language and culture. As we wrap up our exploration of the Tower of Babel, let's take a moment to reflect on what this monumental story reveals about humanity. Isn't it fascinating how a single event could spark such a diverse tapestry of languages and cultures? The ambition of those ancient builders serves as a reminder of our own desires for connection and understanding. But here's a thought: what if Babel was not just about separation, but also a divine invitation to explore our differences? Imagine the rich stories and perspectives that have emerged from the many languages across the globe. And speaking of stories, have you ever wondered how different cultures interpret the tale of Babel? What mysteries lie within other ancient texts that could shed light on this biblical account? The connections might surprise you. Before we dive into those questions, let's remember that every story, including this one, holds lessons for us today. So, how can we apply the lessons of Babel in our own lives? Are we building bridges or walls in our relationships? Stay curious and keep exploring these biblical mysteries with us. What will we uncover next? Stick around, because the journey has just begun.